Hello YouTube, it is Damien, it is The Rise of a Nation, it is episode 144. If you haven't seen last episode, you should go watch it. If you haven't seen the last few episodes, you should go watch them as well. Without further ado, we are the Europa League winners in 2035. 15 seasons in, our first European final, our first European semi-final, and our first European trophy, and as you can see, probably the most famous treble in the club's history. It's been a grand old year. We're going to go through the end of season stuff. We're going to then have a chat about the squad and what I want to do with the squad, and then after that, we will also have a chat about players we may get in, the money we are facing, and one player proven to be an absolute problem to tie down to a longer-term contract. We signed Ricardo Ferreira halfway through the year. They're very disappointed, mainly due to the player giving a high salary. I do not care. He is fantastic. He's won me a Europa League. He's going to be sticking around for the Champions League. I'm going to talk about the finances, everything like that in this episode as well. But yeah, I think Ricardo's had a great little year, but Nildo has been fantastic. Nildo has been out of this world. Obviously he got me through the Juve game by the scruff of his neck, second leg. In the final, he looked pretty good. He's confident on the ball. The Brazilian is fantastic and can still grow. Him and Agilda are our two most important players. And when both play, they are really good. Nilsson, by the way, apparently they're not happy with the salary that he's got. I do not care about that. He has started banging in goals when we rotated in the 4-4-2 late in the season. He also had a really good game last game of the season. We beat Copenhagen 2-0 in the 4-3-3. He played up front, and I think he got an assist as well. For me, he's the sort of guy that I look at and go, yeah, there is a good little player in him. I think he's fantastic. 6'4" at 18 years of age. And if we get that composure up to the 14s, 15s level and the pace up a little bit, he could be quite the little striker. If he hits his potential, he could be one of the best players in the club. Carlos is another one. He is fantastic. He's already 3-star. Can play on the left, can play on the right. Is going to be a player that's going to be here for many a season. And I think that no matter who is interested in him here, we are going to keep him for a while. Also, Michel Moligard has been really good as well. Stream better not have crashed. I got a live stream going, AJ, with no problems. Just refresh. Good. I was going to say, it's not me. Michel Moligard has been fantastic. I don't get the potential. He keeps going from being like 3.5 bit stars to this 3-star with a 4-star silvered out, and then he goes to 5-star. Guess it's to do with his form, but for me, he's fantastic. He's 17 years of age. He's got such a well-rounded stats, and he can play right back for me as the inverted fullback. I do want to see who wants him, which is PSV Udinese and FC, can never pronounce it, Gron. But yeah, and then other people here as well. Marcelo Luiz obviously joined this season. Ballin midfielder. He provides very good cover in the 4-3-3. And we had a bit of a tough time getting this guy game time, but he has looked good in the games he has sort of played. It's very hard to see what a DM can really do without game time. I just hope he develops. He's yet again one of those guys that's 2-star, but only has that like 3-star, 4-star potential. And look, I really hope that Marcio Luiz will kick on. I'm going to keep him around for the club as well. John Sanchez, don't worry about. And then Musa Actis has been fantastic. Been training him up front. He's sort of so well-rounded. And unlike Somariva, whose potential is kind of like capped to that 3-star with a 4th white star, Actis is kind of not capped. He's a mercenary wonder kid, and he is still developing every day. Those physicals could make him an absolute monster, and he's got good technicals. And for me, he's the guy that is the heir to Nildo's throne, even though Nildo's only 1 year older than him. When Nildo doesn't play, I think Actis is sort of going to move past Hannibal and be that guy that plays a bit more. We're going to talk about that, though, in a little bit of time. On the transfers on the outs, no one really massive. The only one I will say is Rafael Orbres. Unfortunately, in the Champions League final, Barcelona lost to Liverpool 2-0. He did get to the final, though. He said he wanted to leave because he wanted to win the Champions League, and he has lost in the final to my boyhood club, or my boyhood side that I love, which is Liverpool Football Club. Mikel Alcotra's obviously gone out there and done a job. He's on the loan list. I would imagine he's wanted on loan by a few people, but we get money when he gets sold. Nildo's another one that gets sold. He's worth 35 million. I think we get like 50% of that deal as well. Edison Cantos, 12 mil, but we get 50% of whatever he goes on for as well, and he's worth 32. As you can see, we've done really well, and obviously Eugenev's had a good okay at Udinese. He would actually be a very good player to have as a backup here as well. And Marco Roma has actually helped Nords out to have a pretty successful year as well. And I'm very happy with everything we've done. In terms of the loans on the outs, Ismail obviously with his loan at the has done well. He's the sort of guy that I would love to bring in back as a backup because he could probably still grow, develop, and he's good enough to change the game with the acceleration, the agility, and the pace. He's got good passing work rate and dribbling, and is probably a very good winger for our system. Finn's gone and developed very well, as you can see here, but yet again, another one of those potentials I don't really see. At 17 years of age, is sort of a guy I would love to see him obviously get there. And then the one that is really weird for me is they think the baller has still got 5-star potential. Like my scout ratings, usually anything above 70 is like, yeah, really good because obviously we got some world-class players in the squad. His scout rating is 84. Whenever I see an 80-plus scout rating with how good my squad is compared to what the players are being scouted, the potential means they're world-class. The game is still telling me the baller is going to be world-class. I can see it with the finishing, the composure, the headering ability, and the physicality, plus being 6'1" with great technique. For whatever reason, he just doesn't score whenever I use him, and he hasn't gone out and absolutely blown it up with Utrecht. There is a part of me that gets him back and see how he goes, because if he comes in and goes ballistic, all of a sudden he hits the potential and great, we have a world-class striker that is Danish, or we loan him out to maybe a club that's a bit better than Utrecht. Hopefully he goes to maybe like Germany, has a really good year, develops and hits 3-star. If he can hit 3-star by the time he's 22, you never know, he might hit that potential. And 4-star is obviously a leading player, and there we are. By the way, that poacher role, I am very tempted to maybe play with a poacher in this system. I know the advanced forward just won me the Champions League, but I feel like a poacher may just go and get me a couple more goals if we can. But he's the sort of guy that I'm like, I don't know at 21 if he's ever going to hit that potential, yet the game keeps telling me he's got an 84 scout rating, and if he hits that potential with those sort of stats, he could be really good, and yeah, who knows with the baller as well. Scored 9 times as well. In terms of the season, you guys know that we did everything we could in the league. We obviously in the Champions League got knocked out in third before we went on a giant killing spree. We beat Bruges 1-0 on aggregate. We then beat Lyon 3-0 on aggregate and yet to concede. We then conceded to Juve, went 1-0 down before a sensational first half from the boys, led by Lars in the advanced forward role, which kind of makes me want to keep it. Went ballistic, and we went 4-1 winners there to go through 4-2 on aggregate. We then kept the clean sheet against Chelsea with 10 men before we came back from 1-0 down in the second leg to win 2-1 before beating Stuttgart in extra time to win our first ever Europa League. And moments to remember, match to remember should be the final, but apparently the 2-0 win against Napoli because they were a high reputable side, maybe, who knows. And goal of the season was a Carlos goal in the league, which for me doesn't really matter because, any goal in the league is not really, they're great and they're good and whatever. But yeah, in terms of the finances, we obviously are where we are. We got a good amount of money in the club. They're saying the best way we lined up obviously was that. I agree with that lineup to an extent. They reckon Somariva over Nildo. I don't understand how that could have happened. So Nildo's got the most assists in the clubs, and they haven't put Nildo in, and they put Wirtz in over Lars. I don't know if I would go with that. I'll definitely go with the 4-for-3 system, but there we are. The accolades, obviously, there's going to be people that won stuff here. This might be the first time Wirtz hasn't won the Golden Boot in the league. He's still got top goal scorer with 24, and there we are. We've done very well. And competition awards, under 21, Danish player, Super League Player of the Year. Golden Boy was Nildo. There you go. That's one of the many Golden Boys that have come through our little squad here. Now, in terms of the club meeting, we're going to play attacking possession football. Yes, and yes. Reach the champions, reach the group stage, accept the current vision, end the season team meeting. You guys see that in this episode as well. And then we're going to have a quick talk about the squad and where the money's going to be in the club. And then, yeah, congratulations on winning the title. It was a good achievement. Saw the reaction after. For also be aiming to reach the Champions League knockout stage, be aiming to reach the BS. Just be competitive, keep the morale high, and we'll discuss promises later. Thank you very much. Always want to click anyway here as well. Everyone's gone off to the Euros, but look, very happy, and yeah. So quickly on the money front, last season we had obviously 50 odd million in the bank, and then the game gave me 11 million to spend, and we didn't really buy anybody, and then with all the sales we sold on some clauses and whatever, we are able to buy where we needed to buy, and then we sold Albrecht on, and we've got the players that we got in now. I expect the game to do the same. We've got 70 mil in the balance. We've got a 57 transfer budget. Something tells me that apparently it's been guaranteed at 7.7. Once the playoff league games have been played, we would know our budget for sure. Something tells me be in the region of about like 12 million. That's not going to be enough with a squad like this to really invest. That's obviously the rotated side, but to really invest in a squad that is going to go, yep, you just won the Europa League. All right, let's go win the Champions League back to back. For me, getting back into the Champions League knockout stages is a must next season. And then if we don't even make the quarterfinals, so first knockout round appearance, so be it. Gives us that taste back of Champions League knockout football. And then I'll be saying the window's open, next 3 to 5 years, we can keep the same squad together, we can do a job. Now, before we talk about the squad as a whole, Agildo's giving me nightmares, boys, because I want to sign him on a new deal. His agent wants these kind of in, and he's not overly interested. I want to get rid of this one here, and I don't want to sign a right back because we've got Sander Bloom. And I wouldn't mind giving him that. And then he gets a bit upset and whatever. If I remove and exclude that, and I say the right back, he's still a long way. See, it's getting quite hard to do what we need to do, and the win the Super League next season. How about that? Fine then, walk away. I don't want to make him upset either. When we do eventually get a contract accepted or we leave in the release fee, he wants a $28.5 million release fee. I was getting offers of $40 million for Gildo, so I can't tie him down to that. His contract's up at the end of 2039, so we do have 3 years from now with his current deal. It just means more than likely if he gets really upset over a season, we could risk him then going, no, I don't want to sign a new deal, and then 2 years ago we have to take a cut price deal like we did with Albrez and leave him on a free. If we get anything less than 60 million for this guy, it's a massive loss. I honestly think if we are going to lose him this window, it's for the 120 million. How much would you sell Vigildo for? He's definitely my best player and definitely is our best 6 and is the whole reason why this system works. Now, to the system and everything as well. How are you, Fred? Good to see you. Everything cold today. Yeah, it's freezing here, mate. Hopefully you're doing well. And AJ, good to see that you had the chat back. Sorry, boys. I wasn't meaning to ignore you. Just, end of season reviews. We are live. Links down below. They're very hard to keep people engaged, I feel. But yeah, I've gone a different way to kind of show you the squad. I've actually gone to put it in a website and go, here you go. And I feel like that's a bit more of an interesting way to do it. So you guys will see that that is, on paper, the team that I would field week in, week out. No injuries, no fatigue, no nothing, right? And that team is a Bad Bloom, Fiera, Rensheng, Ibe, Gildo, Ronald, Nildo, Jose, Jefferson, and Lars. That is a team largely that has won all the big games this season, barring Ronald probably being out with a twisted ankle and Somariva coming in and being absolutely banger in the box-to-box midfielder role on the left-hand side of the two-man midfield with a Gildo behind. It's a team that on paper does suit us. Bloom's an outstanding inverted wing-back. On the right-hand side, Ferreira and Rensheng have built a great partnership where we've barely conceded in the 4-3-3. And Ibe is obviously a great inverted wing back on the other side. Jefferson is a great winger. I feel like Jose isn't as good as a winger as he should be. I actually think there's room for Ismail to come in and beat Jose to that role when he comes back from on loan, but I don't think we're going to do that straight away, and Lars up top is massive. Then, if you look at the other 4-3 rotated, you look at the team and you go, wow, that's a pretty good team. At bad, obviously, in goals, we actually have a young goalkeeper joining us on a free, as well as a backup keeper, which is great. Then there's a couple names that you don't know here in this list. Alvarez and Varut, we'll get to them in a second. Mulgard obviously has been playing and developing here. We got him in. Marco Luiz, showed you just before. Somariva and Actus. Actus for me is, out of those two midfielders, I know Somariva's what he's going to give me. He's dead Dutch, can pick a pass, he can hit a ball, and he can go up and down. He's a bit more physical and can dominate a game. Actus for me is that bit more of that, a very much an attacking midfielder, can play up front when needed. He can play in and do a job in most roles that aren't too defensive. He can also play box to box if really required as well, but he's a very good outlet, and I think the one that kid, the Turkish international, is our best player. Yes, please. Carlos, obviously the one kid on the left, is wanted by a few big clubs, and Ismail coming back on loan, and then young Nielsen is up top. Now, before we get onto it, we're going to talk about young Nielsen. We're going to show you Ismail and how his loan's gone, right? And then we're going to have a look at Alvarez and Vutut. Yeah, I did see Cristiano Ronaldo, Fred. I did indeed. And then if you go by these two, that is a team that is capable of winning group stage games in the Champions League, and that is a team that is capable of obviously winning games rotatedly and playing in the Champions League, some of those players. So look, Carlos has done it, Ismail's done it, Samariva's done it, Actus has done it. I feel like Alvarez is the sort of guy that can come in and do it. You then haven't picked Wirtz, another option, and you haven't picked Hannibal. For me, that's 7 guys that could fit into the first team if there's injuries or fatigue. That would be like, yeah, I can handle a Champions League game off the cuff easy. So for me, the squad doesn't need to be done or changed. I feel like getting someone in here does. And to be fair, Kurt Agard is obviously not far off the lever as well. And I feel like the squad is in a really good spot. So we have a look at the team here. We haven't picked Wirtz up at all, but like Somariva, box to box, very tall, strong, wonder kid, wanted by a lot of clubs. I get that, but for me, he's fantastic. Won me a game as well, and hopefully we'll continue to go. But Moose is the one, man. He's got that 5-star potential, and when he's got that 5-star potential, playing games, I think he will develop. For me, he's the guy that comes into this role here, and he goes advanced playmaker on attack, and you just let him go like you do with Nildo. He's got okay flair, but great off the ball, great vision, good passing, but great composure. Get him going and get him up front. And you can also play him in here. I think he's fantastic as well. And then at the back, obviously, we've got good players. And we haven't even talked about Kurtagard. And he's starting to get interest from Monaco, Napoli, Lyon. If he hits his potential, he's a very good player for me. And that's the thing. 3-star players are good enough for me. I might even give this guy a game time here at centre-back, and he could be fantastic. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at, in my transfer list, if you really want to, Alves I've signed, because he's a 6'4" wonder kid, and I think this guy is the heir to Ferreira's throne. I actually look at this guy and I go, you know what? You are going to be better than Ferreira with that sort of potential. You come in, you play as 3rd, 4th choice centre-back this season. Great, not a problem, right? And then you look at Ludovic Verdut, and he's got 5-star potential as a fullback. Now, we could also train him at the right-hand side as an inverted wing-back, like I've said in the thing, but we could also put him here. We could also put him on an inverted wing-back on attack, because he doesn't mind it. We can train his right foot, and I think if you do that, you put Mulgard on the other side, right? And your team will look like this as a backup side, and you put that name in there, you put this name in here, and you put in a guard. Didn't mean to go full screen, guys, sorry. And you put a guard in there. For me, that is a side, as a reserve side, that would win a lot of games in the league. My only worry is that obviously in the 4th we don't score as many chances in the league, right? But it's a game that's there too. And we've also forgotten about Hillian. I've absolutely forgot Hillian. So in that case, then you're putting Hillian in here as well. I forgot about that, boy. And then all of a sudden you're doing that. Or you're putting Hillian actually here. What you do is you actually put Hillian here, and you train Vertut on this side here with that 5-star potential. Get him absolutely amazing. And then you got a outstanding inverted wing back on the right-hand side for the foreseeable future. And you do that, and you go that, and you got Mulgard back in. And you still got Kurt. For me, what I'm trying to get at is the squads across the two. For me, I do not need to buy really anybody next season. So it may be a season where we just give the squad that won the Europa League a whole year to see what they do in the Champions League, without buying, without selling, without doing anything, if we can help the selling part, of course. Allow the club to go, you know what, yep, you've got 70 million in the balance, let's grow it, let's not spend a cent, let's get it to like 90 or 100, and hopefully we will be okay. I think that's how we're going to go about it. Anyway, that is the end of season review, a season where we won the Europa League. Our first ever European final has gone the way of SFB. It's a fantastic year and a fantastic time to be at the club. Halfway through the year, we thought the save could be in jeopardy. It could be over. We got knocked out of the group stage 5 years after the last time we were in the Europa League. You want to know what's happened? We've turned that negative into a positive. We've come in, we've been in some big clubs like Juve, Chelsea, we've won the Europa League, and I tell you what, boys, if we continue the same vein of form and the same defensive ability, we can be there or thereabouts within a year, 2 years or more. Let's hope no one buys our players. Let's hope we get a Gildo to a full-time, long-term contract. And from Damo and everybody else here, I'll see you next time for episode 145, where we will have the group stage draw and next year's Champions League group. I'll see you then. Thank you and goodbye.